Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Home Rockstar Podcast. Excited for today's episode. We have the owner and founder of White Sands Self Care LLC. And what she does is she helps people reclaim their health by uncovering the root causes of discomfort and guiding them through personalized detox and wellness practices. So I'm very excited to be rocking out today with Laura Cross. Hey, Laura, you ready to rock?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks
Awesome.
for having me.
No problem. So we always start off here on a good note. So tell me a story of success that we can be inspired by.
Okay. Well, I would say my business and my working from home and my life is all a success now. And but that wasn't always, easy because when you're doing what you love and you're making an impact, it's really not work. And
Mm,
you learn so much from so many other people. So not only has it helped my own health and my own life, but it helps business and stuff too. So.
mm. And isn't it interesting that you say that it doesn't feel like work, and that's like, wouldn't it be the goal, right? But but isn't it weird that we think that work should feel like work? Right?
Well, when you grow up in that generation, I am a Gen Xer, so I grew up in the generation where, you go to school, go get a degree, go work for somebody. That's what we were taught to do. And
Mm,
even when I don't know if you remember when people asked you when you were younger, what do you want to do when you grow up?
yeah.
Did you ever come anywhere close to that? Because, you had ideas, but then things happen, things change. I was actually going to college for a couple of years when my dad kept bringing up the Air Force, and I wound up going into the Air Force. So, my life just kind of took all kinds of different turns, and I learned a lot. I don't regret my path. My path is what got me to where I am now. I can sit here and say I wish I got here sooner, but you know what? Things happen for a reason and they're in their time. And so I gained a lot of skills, a lot of knowledge about what I want to do, what I don't want to do. And it unfortunately it took a tragic event for me to get a different perspective on life and to lead me to where I am now. So
Okay.
now, yeah,
Well, I mean, we do talk about the bad note, so I'm wondering, can you share that with me then?
I can absolutely. So my husband and I, my late husband, we were both Air Force. My husband was 36, and we were laughing at lunch, and he was dead by 10 o'clock that night of an aortic arch dissection slash heart attack. He was a year and a half away from retiring from the Air Force.
Oh
And
no.
it's genetics. It was genetics. It was health stuff, but basically the doctors ignored his family history and did the wrong tests, and it cost him his life. So that was when you lose. He was 36. I had just turned 37. And at that age, you feel like you still, got the life. You have all these big plans of what you're going to do, when you retire or how you're going to spend life. You never expect it to just end abruptly. And that's exactly what it did. And it took me a long time to go through that. But as I started to get through it and learn about more and more different things, I learned to me how precious life was,
Yeah.
and I did not want to spend my time anymore answering to other people and them telling me when I could have time off or when I can be there. I love being able to be there for my family, my friends, when I need to, when they need me. And it got to the point within 13 months after his death, I was in four hospitals, three different funerals. I had enough. And when you've got people coming to you making comments like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to be friends with you. Everyone around you dies." I'm like, people will say the
Weirdest things. Yeah.
strangest or rudest things and not realize what they're saying.
Mm,
But that's what put me on this path, and it took me a lot of years to realize had that not happened, I would not be on this path that I am. I would still be busting my butt at some job that I could do and I could do well, but I wouldn't be truly happy, but it would be making ends meet still. And
yeah.
there's a difference. There's a big difference with that.
Yeah. And it's interesting when when someone's going through something and you're trying to talk to them, like I mean, being on the other side of something like bad that ended up being good, you can sort of see like, hey, maybe there's a blessing in this right now, but it's very difficult to have them see that at the time, right? You're like, everything's kind of exploding on them, and they're trying to figure out where they're going. And you know that, hey, when you get through this is going to be part of your story, right? I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, because when you hear about people, even like you, that are doing what they enjoy doing, something usually happens to get them there, right? Like, why don't we just do what we should be doing right from the start? Why does something bad have to happen, right?
That's exactly why I do what I do. Because if I believe in being transparent, you can ask me anything. If my journey or my challenges help someone to avoid that and
Mm,
to do something better for their life, then that's a win for me. So,
yeah.
and that's exactly why I do what I do. It took me a lot of years though. December 21st will be 21 years since he passed away. And
Wow.
so it took me a lot of years and I have multiple businesses. The first thing, of course, I went into and started was travel, and I'm still a travel agent because I love to travel. But traveling on your own and traveling for military are, again, two
Different.
different two different things. It's not the same. Yes, you get to experience great places, but when you can do stuff on your own terms, it's a whole nother world.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to travel a lot for business, and it is very different. Like your personal trips are totally different than your business trips, unless you have a very flexible business, I suppose, right? But yeah, okay.
Even if you have a flexible business, you should put it aside to enjoy that time and to reset. Everyone needs that personal time. I hate seeing people like, still trying to work, do all this stuff. It's like, just let it go. It'll still be there.
Yeah,
It's still going to be there in a couple days. It's not gonna go away.
yeah, yeah. But then on the other hand, what if you really love your business? What if you really love what you're doing and you feel like that's your hobby?
Well, that's true. And everybody has to find their balance because it's different for everybody. But a
Mm,
lot of us that go into business for ourselves and our business owners, it's so we can have time and better quality time with our family and to do stuff. But if you're always working, then you're not truly there or present for your family. So
yeah,
you're really doing almost more damage than good. You're kind of going opposite of what you intended
yeah,
because it can take over. So it's finding that balance, but it's different for everybody. And that's why I love creating the judgment-free spaces because what works for me may not work for you and it may not work for someone else. But if you are, feeling stressed or, uptight or you start noticing symptoms of stuff, or you're not happy and you can feel that you're not happy, then you got to step back and take a look at what you're doing.
yeah, yeah. And you know what? I think that people it's funny because we sort of intuitively know that our bodies know right, that we have these gut feelings, but we discount them a lot, don't we? Like you sort of go, I kind of had a feeling this was going to go this way, but you just don't listen to it because your head kind of goes, well, yeah, but on paper it doesn't make any sense, right?
Yep. I always tell people their body is their best MRI. You just got to know how to listen to it. And if you don't get so caught up in the rat race and doing things to where all of a sudden, oh, this day morning turned into night, this one and this, and it just keeps going and going, and then how many times do we sit back and say, oh, it's because I'm getting older. Oh, well,
Mm,
this is gonna, and you just start accepting things. But it
yeah,
doesn't have to be that way. I know 86, 90-year-olds that are out here still working farms, healthy, doing all kinds of stuff. It's it's mindset, it's what you do, and taking care of yourself is big a big component against all things, business, family life. It goes across all.
yeah. And I also know young people that live like they're 80, right? It's just, it depends. I mean, your mindset has a big impact on your health overall as well, right?
Yeah, it's amazing what we get used to. I forget the name of, like the phenomenon or whatever they want to call it. But when you're in a certain world, it's kind of like that's all you know.
Yeah,
Like when my fiance and I are racing cars, you start to know just all the tracks, all the people that are racers. You start seeing different things. You can see the numbers, you can tell they're racers and stuff. But if you're not in that world, you probably would not even recognize or know that. You don't know what's out there. And so it's the same with your health. I was raised and brought up in one thing, where, okay, you don't feel good, you go to the doctors, they throw stuff at you. and then you still have issues. Didn't know about the whole other world of holistic and everything, and the fact that we can actually change a lot of stuff. And so when you're open and you get to learn different things from all over the world, I mean, it's amazing what's out there.
Yeah, it is amazing what's out there. And we have become as a society, well, I think that's kind of taken a turn now, but we had become very dependent on the experts, you know, kind of going outside and they're going to tell me what I need to do to be healthy. Whereas really most of the answers are right within ourselves, I think, anyway.
Yeah, you are correct. And they are experts in their area, but that's the problem is when they're too specialized in their area and we're not looking at things or the body as a whole, you're
Yeah.
missing out on a whole lot of things that could have helped fix something else.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think everything has its place. I mean, I've had this conversation many times where, if I, break my arm or, something happens, well, I need to go to somebody who's going to fix my arm. A clairvoyant is not going to help me with that, right? Right. It's just it's one of those things. But, if I'm, on the other hand, if I'm just not feeling right, maybe a doctor is not necessarily going to give me, the pill may end up creating more problems than actually going to somebody who might be able to help me with just my lifestyle, just fixing, maybe taking more naps. It could be as simple as that. I hate to minimize it, of course, there are some complicated things out there, but there are tools out there to help us. And I think that just having a little bit of maybe trying different things. Uh, but I definitely caution on the whole, I'm just gonna take a pill. That'll just fix everything. Because, you see it. I mean, you see it in our grandparents and, where they've got all these pills and this pill, works for the side effects of this pill, which works for the, that can't be it. Can it? I don't know.
It's not, and I really got to the point where I can't stand the commercials. They want you to focus so much on this happy, person jumping around and forget about the whole long laundry list of things that could go wrong, including death.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I've been there. I've been through the spinal injections. I've been on the muscle relaxers, the painkillers. None of that ever did anything for me but cause side effects. And after my husband passed, I realized what the side effects were. And now I don't
Yeah.
touch any of them. I've learned how to fix it with massages, chiropractor, acupuncture, just simple movement, frequency healing, you name it. There's a lot of stuff you can do. As you can see, so I don't go to doctors. I actually fell in August on my on my way back to before we left Colorado to help my mom out. My foot caught on the concrete, my ankle rolled down. I went and I smashed up my wrist to where it had lumped up this bad. And then my fiance's like, "Do you want to go to the doctors?" I'm like, "Nope, give me an ice pack. Let me see." I was like, "Nope, I can move my fingers. It hurt, but does this?" Nope. And then I have a scan. I did my own voice scan. There's nothing broken and fractured. I just gotta heal it. But it's hard when it's your primary, when you're right-handed and it's your primary. So it takes a little longer. But I got the swelling down myself. Now the tendons and I can tell are still healing. But I know my mom would like me to go see him. I was like, I don't need to get radiated with an X-ray. I am
Yeah.
good. You
Yeah.
know, now there are times when, yeah, if you've damaged something severely, yeah, you need to go. But I've learned there's a lot of things that I can do to help and fix my own. So, yeah.
Yep. No, I agree. I'm not. I very, very rarely. I just can't remember the last time I went to a doctor. And I think that a lot of that did come from my mom when I was growing up. She was a stay-at-home mom, and she didn't really take us. I don't remember. I mean, it was we had to be really sick in order to go because for her it was just like, no, well, I'm home. I'm just gonna bring you some soup. You're gonna just need to get some rest, and we would we would heal, and then off you go. But I mean, yeah, if you break a bone or anything like that, well then there are some circumstances where it just makes sense. But I just think that we just have access to all these tools, and there's different tools for different things. But it's just the marketing that goes into the drug side of it has just been so heavy that it's just people will just look at that first rather than just thinking maybe I just might need a nap, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and so
Yeah.
some sort of recharge. But anyway, so let's talk a little bit about other practices that you have. I mean, it sounds like you've got a lot. So tell me actually, what do you think it's important to practice?
Well, I do have I have a few. For one, what I always tell people is, especially if you're looking at becoming a business owner or work from home, you can make money at almost anything if it's something you love and do. But I always tell people to take that time, that quiet time, block out all the negativity and stuff, but go inside and figure out what really lights you up. Because if what you're doing doesn't light you up, you're gonna burn out. You're gonna not be happy. And to me, life is too precious to spend time going through life that way.
Mm,
So, there's a lot of things you can do. I practice it all the day. So I always set my schedule. I have my own me me time, self-care time, whatever you want to call it, where people can't even book in appointments with me until 10 a.m. I'm done by 5 p.m. I only set so many meetings, so many recordings. I give myself time for those lunch breaks to go out and go walk around, to take care of the dog, or just sit outside for a little while. I came across a recent stat that there's prisoners that spend more time outside than people do. And we're choosing
mm,
that, because we're staying so locked up in front of computers and inside all the time. And it's not healthy. It's
yeah,
not healthy. And when you're working from home, you really have control of that. I've let my schedule get out of hand every now and then, where all of a sudden I'm meeting. All of a sudden I was like, okay, the day's done. I didn't even take anything out for dinner. I haven't eaten. And I'm like, that's just not the way to go. So I went into Calendly and backed it down to where you can't book more than, three of this and no more than one recording a day. And, you schedule it out and everything else will wait. Falls into place.
yeah,
So it's just, yeah, I like guided meditation that I can do. But for me, meditation is almost just going out and walking around on the property, feeding my critters, doing stuff that I enjoy.
yeah,
Music, dancing. That's another one of my happy places. That'll help balance me out and forget anything going on. So I always have different things. Some people it's working out, and I do exercises and stuff. I change it up because even a self-care routine can get boring or can burn you out, So change things up, whether it's reading or listening to a podcast. There's so many different things you can do, um, to help your self-care.
yeah, yeah. Well, I think it's interesting because sometimes, and maybe I'll just like challenge people to try this. If you spend too much time in front of that computer working, it seems like there's like a diminishing results that you get. You get less productive the more time you spend in front of that computer. Whereas, because and I discovered this, and I can give you a music analogy actually as well. Actually, maybe we'll start with there. When you're learning an instrument, when you're learning your guitar or whatever it is, sometimes you're just learning this piece and you play it, and you're kind of doing okay. And then after a while, it's like you're getting worse at it. What the heck? I was just doing it right a second ago, and now I can't do it anymore. And the more you try, the harder it is. It's the
Right.
most bizarre thing ever. And then you put it down, you go away because you're frustrated, right? And then you do something else, you come back, you pick the instrument up, and boom, it's right there. Like, isn't that is just the most fascinating thing ever. And it seems to be the same with work, is that you're pushing away at something, and then you can't get it. It seems like you're getting worse and worse. And then you go away and, do something else. You come back and it's like you're super productive. All of a sudden, it's all clear headed. Do you find that too?
Absolutely. So I had the opportunity, well, I shouldn't say an opportunity. Anyway, I guess that's an opportunity. I had the opportunity to go back to school. I had the Fry 9/11 from my late husband. So I went back to school and got a bachelor's and master's. Well, now I'm going to school when I haven't been in school in 30 years, right? So now I'm doing all this reading. I'm writing these papers, and these papers are due. And I'm an overthinker anyway. And so I keep overthinking things. I keep racing, keep doing this, keep that. And I'm like, oh my God, but I just got to get it done. Okay, so now I'm tired. My
Mm,
back hurts. I got 10 million other things on my mind. But I learned if you just get up and walk away, go do something else, even if it's for 5, 10 minutes, put on your favorite tune, go look at something, just make your mind just totally shut off from that and focus on something else. And it's like, and you come back, and it's like, why in the world did I make that so hard? Because everything
Yeah.
just comes. But when you keep taxing your brain like that and keep thinking, oh, I just got to push through, pushing through is not always the answer. It's kind of like slowing down to go forward faster. So,
Yeah.
it's with anything. It's with work, and so when you can do that and you can break away, your creativity comes back. All kinds of things will come to mind. Instead of doing this and then submit it and then later and thinking, oh crap, I should have done this. This would have been better. But instead, maybe you didn't get the grade you want, or it wasn't as well received because you just went ahead and pushed through and did it. Walk away. Just
Yeah.
just walk away.
Yep. Which is counterintuitive. I mean, your brain tries to go, no, but you just got to finish this, and you start to feel guilty because now you're not working, and you got to get this thing done, and now you're on a walk, right? You feel like you're being unproductive, but in reality, it actually is increasing your productivity.
It is. And if you try it and you get into that habit, then you can see. And it doesn't really matter what anybody else thinks. You know how it works for you and that you can get more done.
Yeah.
That's a big thing too, is putting aside what everybody else thinks.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like 101. Right?
That is. I was guilty of that for a long time. When you come up as a kind of like a follower or a people pleaser and you're learning, that is great. But you're learning stuff, that's fine. But you start to lose who you are. And when you figure out you can take those lessons and be who you are, and it doesn't matter what other people think, if you are good with who you are, people are either going to resonate with you or they don't, and that's okay. Not everybody's going to like you.
Yeah, that's true. So what does your jam room look like? How do you have that set up?
My jam room, so if you haven't noticed the blues, and it's not just for Air Force, I have always been drawn to water and dolphins. So my whole entire room is painted like a Caribbean blue, the lighter blue. And I have my
Yep.
picture of me swimming with the dolphins, my travel pictures. It's my happy place.
Oh, that's
It's
awesome.
my colors and my happy place. That's another thing that people don't realize that affect them. When you're at home, your room should reflect you and how you feel because the colors and the things that are in it put off a vibration. And those colors and stuff that can also determine how productive or unproductive that you are. So I tell people, I said, colors have vibration and frequency also. There's a reason restaurants are painted a certain color and spas are painted a color. One wants you to eat and drink more, the other one wants you to relax.
Yeah,
Because there's a vibration and frequency to it, and a lot of people don't realize that. So your environment and what you're now, I realize people that are in jobs don't have control of that. But guess what? When you work from home and you create your own office space, that's all up to you. You create
I
that.
agree. I agree. And I mean, when I asked you about your jam room and your smile came out, I think that's kind of the key, right? Everybody, when someone says, "Hey, you're thinking about your home office," you should be smiling like that. You should be like, "Yeah, I love that place. That's awesome. It's my happy place." Like,
Yeah.
why else would you go in it if it wasn't exciting? You have to be like, I mean, like, because that's the thing is that when you're working for a job, someone's paying you a paycheck. You've got somebody cracking a whip. All that you have to go. But when you work for yourself, it's really easy to just not work, right?
Oh, well, and
So
it's easy to not get paid. You don't work, you're not gonna get you're not gonna get paid.
eventually,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
you're going to realize, but I mean, that's the thing is the more exciting and happy you can make that room, the more likely it is that you're going to wander your way into it and start to work, right?
yep. I mean,
Yep.
normally behind me, I used to always have my there's like a blue butterfly that tells you to relax, and it's got me swimming with the dolphins. But I'm on season 10 in my show, so I changed up my background because this quilt was done for me by the ladies from the Quilt of Honor for my service in the Air Force. And so I swapped it out and I put my quilt because I never talked to them. They never asked me any questions, but damned if it didn't come with my blues in it and the colors. And I do love eagles too. So, it's got the eagles in it. So I
Oh,
swapped it
that's
out.
so you. What about instruments? What about some of the tools you use in your business?
So I love AI. I know a lot of
Yeah.
people don't like it and it may not be popular, but AI helps me, for one, I have a platform that helps me put together descriptions and stuff that sound like me and
Yeah.
stuff because you're going to have days where you're not necessarily creative and thinking, but when you're hosting a show like this or you host a show, show's got to go on, right? You have to come up with these things. And then my tool I love the most, I would say, is Opus Clips Pro.
Oh,
My Mindful Mondays is an hour-long segment. And when we first started shows, I've seen people like right now, they're trying to remember when was the most exciting part. You know what? You just drop the episode in there. I can tell it to go less than 30, less than 60 seconds. It does the snippets for me. It puts the AI, the words to it. It tells you what kind of engagement you would get out of it. I can schedule it up to go to LinkedIn and YouTube. So I can schedule stuff out. Take me like 5 minutes to schedule that stuff up, and boom, they go up automatically for me. It is such a time saver. Huge time saver.
yep. I use it too, actually. And
Yeah.
I'm getting and you get better at it as well. You can even put like the background music in there as well. It makes it sound pretty professional. It's actually pretty
I haven't
impressive.
got that far with it. I've made it my branding colors, so my brand colors will come up when people talk. So I haven't gotten super fancy with it, but it is a huge time saver rather than trying to, if you've ever worked with any editing software, to try and cut stuff out. And, I'm sure you might have had to do it before, but when you're
I
trying to
do.
cut out
Yeah.
just these fraction of a seconds, because you have some guest that says, "Oh, can we cut that out?" But then they keep talking. It's like to catch that and not cut somebody off is almost impossible. So, which is why I do not edit. I do not edit.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I used to have to edit everything like totally manual when I first started this, but now actually the tools, even though there's another tool called Descript. I'm not sure if you heard of that one before, but that one you can actually cut it out by the words rather than the wave file. But yeah, the tools these days and AI, I just find the hardest part is that blank page, and AI helps you get through that. You
Yeah.
tell it what it wants, and it's not necessarily that it's perfect, but at least you have something to work with, right?
Right. And that's a lot of times what I'll do. It almost kind of helps me brainstorm
Yeah,
because, again, overthinking, I can have a lot of stuff going through my head or a lot of ideas, and I can write it down and tell it to like write my bio and here's what I do, blah, 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 blah. And I just list it all off. It's not necessarily in an order. Throw it out there and it kicks out a bio. Now I always reread through everything. I don't think anybody should just, oh, the AI did it, it's fine, slam it up there. I reread through it, make sure it makes sense or it reads the way I want it to. If it doesn't sound like me, which I do not use embark and delve, so I'm like, do not use those in my descriptions.
yeah,
You can train it. You can train it, but I always still read them and make sure that it is something that I would have said. I just like that they put it together so much smoother than maybe
yeah.
what I was coming up with at the moment.
Yeah, it's a big game changer. I mean, you're right. I think there's a lot of people that are a little afraid of it, but I mean, it is here, and I don't think it's going anywhere. So I mean, the people that kind of jump on board and start using it a little bit are going to have, especially for those of us who are self-employed or solopreneurs. I mean, you've got somebody working for you, right?
Yeah.
And like you say, I mean, running ideas by somebody. I don't know if you're like me, but I mean, I find I learn a lot by just running an idea by a person. But now you're taking their time, right?
Well, I have friends and community that help me with that. Otherwise, I am a solopreneur. I just now started working with two VAs, which are wonderful. So I'm learning some other new platforms now that we can do for free and act as a team. So always learning, and there's always
Yeah.
stuff to learn. It's really cool. But yeah, I don't recommend taking on everything yourself, especially when you're running multiple businesses, but sometimes you have to. And I've always
Yeah,
been good at doing what I have to. So
you bet.
I look forward
Well,
to the day that a lot of that can, come off my plate or I can, do stuff. But I love what I do, so it's okay.
that's awesome. So, speaking of what you do, it's time for your guest solo. So tell me what's exciting in your business.
So, well, a couple of things, and they kind of, for me, they all kind of play together. Everything I do is about blah, building holistic, judgment-free communities.
Yeah,
Because of the things that I've gone through and stuff, I want people to know that they're supported. There's someone out there that has gone through something similar. to what you've gone through. And if hearing any of their journeys or challenges can help people to not go through the same thing, then that's great, which is why I do Mindful Mondays with Laura Cross, my TV show. And I have different guests on. I created a community with self-care. But the thing I love when it comes to health is one of my newest tools that I've learned about is the AO voice scan, and it absolutely blows people away. I mentioned a little bit because I was talking about vibration and frequencies. It takes Rife Frequencies, Nikola Tesla's technology together, 10 seconds of your voice, and I can light you up head to toe and tell you what foods are causing you inflammation, which ones are causing dysfunction. Are you pre-diabetic? Do you have this going on? Do you need to watch out for this? It'll tell you what emotions are blocked and trapped that are causing problems within your system. It's why I did my voice scan to find out if I had any fractures or breaks in my wrist, whether I really should go to the doctors or not. Because I can tell you, I colored my hair one time, and I try not to use toxic stuff, but the natural stuff wasn't working. So I went to the L'Oreal. I got a little bit of it in my eye. I scanned myself the next morning. Boom, hair toxins, damage to the right eye. Just from my voice, it can tell what's going on with my body.
Wow, that's fascinating.
So I love using that to be able to help people, give them a starting place, and then give them lifestyle changes, some things they can do to change lifestyle and supplements that can help them to improve their health. And seeing people have more energy during the day, not having to take naps, or they feel better or get off medications, which I don't tell people to get off medications. They will just naturally get better, and they'll either decide themselves or their doctor will say, like, okay, we don't need this anymore. So, like I said, it's not a tool to diagnose people, but it will identify the root cause, because people don't realize traumas that you haven't dealt with, that whether it's losing a spouse or abuse or falls, all that stuff, if you do not release it, it holds in your body and it actually causes pain and different dysfunctions in your body. And it will show up in different ways. It's more than just I fell and did this or I'm getting old. There are things in there. It'll show you your chakras, your meridians, which, is your whole life force of how your body works. And so it shows you everything. So it gives you a good place to start and to
Yeah,
identify with. And some people are open to it, some people are not. Some people just cannot wrap their head around it. It's more Eastern, it's stuff that's been around for thousands of years. Holistic and natural has been around for thousands of years. It's just not what we were brought up in, because you
yeah,
had the Western medicine, and there's nothing wrong with either. You can do a combination. The thing is you have a choice, and it's your choice. It is
yeah,
absolutely your choice. You should not be forced to have to do anything. It's your body, it's your choice, but know what's out there. And then you
yeah.
decide.
Yep. Well, I agree with that 100%. Yeah, it is interesting though that the medicine that's been out there for longer is not the one called traditional. I'm like, huh, that's an interesting choice of words.
No, it's called holistic or it's called woo-woo or whatever titles people want to put on it. It's just because I'm just like, before all of this stuff, all these drugs and stuff were even invented, how do you think they healed themselves?
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
stuff and practices that have been around, but when you haven't been exposed to it or you're not open to it, you have to be open. You have to be ready to change and you have to be open. If you're not, there's nothing I can do for anybody. It has to be their choice.
yeah, yeah. It's all tools, right? I mean, there's like you said, I mean, there's a purpose of all these tools, and why not expose yourself to a wide variety of tools rather than just one, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. To
Right
learn
on.
more and more of stuff that's in our stuff that shouldn't be there, which some of them they're now taking out, which isn't even allowed in Europe and all this. It's just,
Yeah,
it's mind blowing. And people will be like, they wouldn't dare do that. Yeah, they do. You should take a look at your stuff.
yeah, yeah. It
But
is really too bad.
again, you can stay in your little world, or you can be open-minded and learn what's out there and be open to it. You don't have to be judgy about it. Just learn and then decide whether it's for you or not. It's your
Yep.
it's your choice. I'm not here to judge you either way. You decide to do what you want to do.
Well, and that's exactly it. I mean, if there's something that's, maybe some sort of like real urgent thing that you need to get taken care of right now, well, then, your options of like checking it out might might be limited. But on
Sure.
the other hand, if it's something that you've been living with for a long time, like why does it hurt to take an extra few days to, you know, explore some different avenues maybe that you might not have thought of before to see if maybe it might help, right?
Yeah.
And you know, like you say about the traumas and all that stuff. I mean, we all know that stress is a big deal, like that it actually does hurt us. So reducing stress, wouldn't that make a big difference?
It would. And some people think they control it fine, just fine, or they think they're fine. I can't tell you how many times people have said, well, work's work and home is home. I
Yeah.
got news for you. There is no such thing. If you've got something that's really upsetting you at work, I don't care how much you go home and try to smile, it comes out in your tone, your body language, your demeanor. It's still affecting your home life. Everything's connected.
Yeah.
Everything's
Well,
connected.
and people will use like, either drugs or alcohol or some other way to escape that. And, but they don't necessarily think about that as being a bad thing, right? I mean,
No,
hey, everybody has their thing, but on the other hand, like, whatever that tool is that you're using, they're all tools, right? So it's we all have a choice, right?
they're all tools. Yep. And you decide which ones work for you.
That's right. So tell me more. How do we find out more about what you do?
You can go to my website at whitesandselfcare.com. There's a lot about me, my different products, different things that I do. You can book for an AO voice scan or to be a guest on Mindful Mondays with Laura Cross. You can also catch my show on YouTube or on E360. Hit me up on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. If you put in Laura Cross White Sands, you're gonna find me. You
Awesome.
should be able to find me. I got everything under Laura Cross White Sands. So.
Awesome. Laura, hardest question of the day. Who's your favorite rock star?
Oh my God. I have a lot. I am an 80s child. I have a lot of them. And it depends on your definition of rock. Um, oh, you had to ask me that, didn't you?
Yep.
We listen to Hair Nation all the time. So I've had a lot of rock groups that I love,
Ooh,
but
big
um
hair bands, eh?
yeah, I've been to Autograph, Def Leppard, Night Ranger, which some of them are. It depends. My fiance is hard rock heavy metal, so some of what
Uh-huh.
they call rock, he does not call rock. Motley Crue, Kiss,
Yeah.
you name them. Love those guys. Yeah, I listen to Hair Nation a lot, or 80s, and I also like 90s, 2000. I like all music, so yeah,
That
can
is awesome.
pretty much rock out to any of them. I love Kiss and Motley Crue though too.
Oh, that's awesome. Right on. Yeah, they put on great shows.
I do.
You got to give it to them. I mean, gee, they didn't make them like they did in the 80s, do they?
No, they didn't, and it was different to see him when they just took the makeup off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, right
yeah,
on. Well, thank you so much for rocking out with me today, Laura. This has been a lot of fun.
absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. And to the listeners, make sure you go to workathomerockstar.com and we'll see you next time at the Work at Home Rockstar podcast.